I am so happy to showcase Dust Commander for you. As most of you know by now, we name all our releases after Kentucky Derby winners, and this is this version's namesake. This is Dust Commander. Now, this is one of my favorite releases ever because it's the first release where I legit can't demo everything. There's that many things packaged into it. So it's going to be a slightly different format. We're going to do a PowerPoint that kind of showcases the things that we've added and changed, and we will take short breaks in there to look at some of the more interesting features. Okay, so first up in the Dust Commander release is a rethink of and significant improvement to guardrails. So for those of you who use guardrails, or for those of you who don't use guardrails, it is a utility that allows you to cordon off areas of VividCharts for other stakeholders to play in. So as you've all seen, VividCharts is way easier for process users to access and build dashboards off of. And a guardrail allows you to say, okay, for these users, groups, or roles, you have access to build these VividCharts experiences off of these data sources for these tables using these chart types. So you can get very, very specific around who can do what in VividCharts. And what we've added in this version is, first of all, the ability to make a guardrail for a group or a role. Previously, you'd have to list out all the users individually. We've also allowed you to toggle some of the data sources. Previously, it was just tables, but now you can toggle tables, database views, reports, and report sources. And you can cordon off the tables and chart types just as before. So this is kind of a radical improvement to guardrails, and we hope that you are able to use that to kind of make separate white picket fence segregated playgrounds for your stakeholders to build on VividCharts without getting exposed to too much stuff, as we say. All right, next up is list chart improvements. After very many requests, we are now allowing lists to be grouped in collapsible menus. And we also have a paginated list. So you can have, rather than having a scroll bar that goes ultra deep, you can now have a paginated list. So here we have the grouped incidents. And so when that grouping opens up, now I see the scroll bar. When I collapse that grouping, the scroll bar disappears. So this is a kind of unprecedented interactivity from VividCharts. Also, we have a paginated list here. No vertical scroll bar, even though we've got many incidents in here. We've got 25 pages worth, but we can hit that page button to paginate through our list of incidents. So we've had so many requests, and I'm just, man, I could almost end the presentation here. This feature has been so requested for. Next up, we have Graceful pagination. And this is something we're just going to see on the screen. But if you have one of those lists in your report on your dashboard, and that list is 3 pages, if you go to print this page, it will print multiple pages of it. So it'll have, here you have the 3 pages, and it will carry over any other charts that are on the same page as the list. So if you have a paginated list, you can now get multiple pages printed to facilitate all that data. Really, really powerful. This is just a screenshot, a larger screenshot, so you can see that this is page 1 of 3, 2 of 3, 3 of 3, printing sequentially with the other charts embedded. Another popular request is sort features for charts. So these are charts that group by various things. So bar charts, pie charts, donuts, matrices. Previously, you could only sort by one element. Now you can sort by either the value of the series or the alphabetically by its label. So if you've ever wanted to sort a bar chart by the values rather than the label, now you can do that. Or if you ever wanted to sort a pie matrix or donut matrix differently based off of value or label, you can now do that. Okay, we got some new charts as well. One of them comes from a request from a client of ours to do a trend line comparison. And the trend line comparison allows you to do two queries. So you'll have a query for the quote unquote top of the bar and a query for the quote unquote bottom of the bar. And then this line is drawn in the middle by calculating the difference between the two. So that's a cool new analytical chart that we have for you, trendline comparison. We also, by popular demand, have now added horizontal stacked bar charts. Previously, stacking was only limited to our vertical bar charts, but now it's, I'm so happy to announce that it's available for horizontal stacked bar. One of my favorite new chart types is the field selector chart. And we'll just do a quick demonstration of this, but some of you may be dealing in reports such as project status or the change repeater or major incident repeater, where you have to put on a field for the record, which is a different chart for every field. So if I want the number, the short description, the description, and the created date all visible on the dashboard, you are putting essentially 4 chart field charts on there. We found that to be very onerous and difficult. And so we made a single chart type called a field selector, where you just pick which fields you want and how many columns you want it laid out in, and then it automatically generates a object for you. So we're going to take a quick look at that. This is going to display fields for change number 24. And when I go to select columns, it's almost as if I'm building a standard list view. I pick whatever columns I want. Also included in here is our score columns. So you don't necessarily have to rely on just columns in the database. You can build embedded scores into that list, and they can be selected as columns as well. So now that I have these columns selected, I'll go finished. And how many columns do you want? 1. Okay, let's preview that. There's all my fields listed in 1 column. But if I had said 2 columns, now it breaks out into 2. Likewise, for 3 columns, it kind of smartly determines where this stuff should go, which is super handy. Previously, if you had like 9 or 10 elements, you would be very quickly running out of room on your slate editor to get these things put together. This makes it so much easier just to compact and organize them. And of course, when you're on your slate editor, you can style them all in one shot with slate styles. So this is one of my favorite features for the whole platform. For those of you who use combo charts, it's way easier to wield. The combo chart button is always visible, but it's grayed out if you can't use it. It's got significantly enhanced performance. It is now supports dynamic filters, which was a major problem beforehand. And proud to announce that the combo charts now have legends beside them, so you can tell which line is which. So combo charts are now finally there. Okay, we've got some improved chart forecasting as well. If you're one of those people who uses PA and PA with VividCharts, we had 2 types of visuals that did not have forecasting previously. Those were bump charts and stacked area charts. And now those charts have forecasting on them. So you can check that under the chart options, and you can enjoy your forecasting on those charts. For those that used the calendar heat map, we've got some improvements there. So this was a very difficult chart to size and resize, and that's been polished up a bit. And by popular demand, we now have labels that include totals. So in this case, you can see at the bottom here, June has 688, July has 1,179, which just brings another level of analysis to that calendar heat map. Super proud of that one. Okay, major improvements to donut charts, which I think are going to make them head and shoulders above pie charts now, because you can place an aggregate in the center of the chart as a chart property. You don't have to worry about making a second chart that's a counter and a label to it, and then kind of manually putting it in the center. Now the donut charts can do that automatically, and you can pick whichever aggregate you want from the list in ServiceNow. So it could be counts, averages, mins, max, distinct counts, etc. Donuts are also included in the better sorting order, which is what we talked about a couple slides ago. We've got some new improvements to the pie charts. So pie charts, again, are included in that better sorting by labels or by values. But we've also taken a shot at making the hover over have a little bit more info. So if you're using values and percentages, the hover over will include both of those as well. So just adding more nuance to your hover over and pie charts. Okay, another super popular demand was dealing with label orientation on charts that have them, especially on timeline charts, bar charts, histograms, that kind of thing. Getting these things to size correctly was sometimes a chore. So sometimes if the label is big enough, horizontal or vertical won't do the job. And so we've given you the ability to place your labels horizontally, vertically, or at an angle. And we've gone through, and almost half of our chart library now has that option, all the charts where that would apply to. Okay, and on top of that, we have a massive library of bugs fixed. We have several slides that we can go through. When our dev team was showing this off to us, he played a game to see if he could get it all done in one breath. It was pretty exciting. But there's just been a slew of bug fixes throughout the entire platform. This will be available on our release notes to see, but just to give you an example of how many of those there are, just quite a few. And this goes on for several more pages. So that is the Dust Commander release. So glad you guys had the opportunity to come and see our presentation on it. And now I will open it back up for Q&A. Okay, we got somebody doing a question in chat. Does the pagination work for the project status report? It does if you have a list. However, most of the project status reports are completely different information slide to slide. So we do have several solutions for that. I would ask you to, we have a list of incomplete tasks, issues, risks, etc. Yeah, Kevin, I'd say get in touch with us and we can show you this along with several other solutions. It's hard to tell like sight unseen, but we'd love to see what we can do for you there. Vicky says she likes the donut pie chart with the aggregate filling. I love that too. I don't know if I can ever go back to pies with that tool in my pocket. Okay, we have a question from Ashok Gunia. Any highlights on change table? If you're talking about the change request table, there's nothing specific in the Dust Commander release that deals with that. However, everything that you've seen in VividCharts can be applied to any ServiceNow table, report source, database view, or PA indicator. So I would ask, what outcomes are you looking for in change? And the dashboard is that much easier to make with that much more aesthetic control and in time to start pleasing your change stakeholders. So happy to have a conversation with you on that for certain. We do have a change Vivid pack that's a work in progress and is kind of looking for like kind of a forward schedule of change, specifically CI success timelines, incident problem change. Again, there's no feature specific to Dust Commander that's looking at that, but I would, I'd love the challenge to look at what does a CI success timeline look for you and see what kinds of our charts could facilitate that for you.
Hey, Robert, I think Ashok might actually be referring to our first iteration of our change management Vivid pack. Okay. I believe Ashok might have been one of the ones who provided feedback. So I think that was what's being referenced here. Okay, well, we're just wait. Mitch is going to send me a link, and we're going to showcase one of our prototypes for a Vivid pack we're working on in the change realm. Okay, so this is a sample of a Vivid pack we're working on for changes. Its intent is to kind of be a forward schedule of changes for your change stakeholders, less so than your change managers. So this is something we're working on. If you'd like to tell us what you think about it, if you'd like to be part of the team that is refining this and giving us feedback on it, please reach out. We are definitely looking for more stakeholders on that. But Ashok, this is what we've got. But this is independent of Dust Commander. This is its own product on the VividCharts platform.
Okay. We could open the floor to general questions on VividCharts as well. Otherwise, thank you all for joining, especially Vicky. Thank you so much for being our advocate and presenting for us. And enjoy the rest of your days, folks. We will be on. We'll be on for another few more minutes to take any straggling Q&A. All right, folks. Doesn't look like there's anything coming up in Q&A anymore. Thank you for your time, and again, enjoy the rest of your day.